Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the TikTok. So, wealth creation myths they didn't want you to know. Here's the real truth. Are you tired of just not getting anywhere? So, I have over 25 years of experience in the corporate experience in entertainment, financial management, and social media. So, what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to help a couple of people level up with themselves. I created my resource guide, and this resource guide is to enable you to navigate exactly what's going on in terms of leveraging your time, different industries, defense, oil, gas, auto industry. So what's happening right now, these industries are basically not in existence anymore. What do I mean by that? Because what's happening with labor is impacting the artificial intelligence, which then has a bunch of risk. And so when the risk level for low labor is high, you're going to expect an uptick in AI. And AI, from what I've heard right now, may actually replace labor. So, what do I mean by that? It means it'll be reduced costs to provide services. And when the costs are low, companies kind of like that, which means they maybe start looking for a way to, get rid of people, like fire them or whatever. And that's what I see this happening right now in the federal space in particular. And I see some corporate folks are actually doing the same thing. They're saying, hey, look, it looks like we may not be able to help you guys out. So you're going to have to go on your own. When you come to this live, do me a quick favor, tap the like button. Okay, share. You can tap my nose and share, but I'm going to be telling you exactly this resource grab and why this resource grab is something that you need to be monitoring right now, particularly the risks that are involved with the labor. Like I said, our downward trend in labor is going to lead to an upward increase in AI. If you follow what's happening right now, I think the Senate is supposed to be voting on the big, beautiful bill that they're talking about. You guys know what that is. So it went through the same problems in the House. Now it's in the Senate. This big, beautiful bill is nothing but a resource grab. So resource grab it's going to impact a whole bunch of industries. It's going to actually impact your local street, your local neighborhood, because the word I've heard right now is there's supposed to be some deep cuts to Medicaid. If you know what Medicaid is, type yes in the chat. But this is a big resource grab. And I'm telling you, the industries right now, I forgot to put that one in here. I probably should just add this. This is a big industry. Instead of putting auto, I'm going to take off oil, and I'm going to replace that with healthcare. Type healthcare in the chat if you know about the healthcare industry. So healthcare is a big one, okay? Healthcare, all right? So healthcare industry poses a huge risk for some people right now because there's a lot of companies that they get offsets. They get money from the government for providing healthcare. So what's going to happen for that particular industry? The resource grab is going to become a risk. It's going to become a risk for companies that are actually in this space. And when it becomes a risk, not only is it going to be a risk for the employees, the bottom line for these companies are going to take a hit. And when they do take a hit, it's going to invariably impact middle-town America. And that's why some of these senators right now are really pissed off about this bill that's getting ready to get passed. Okay, so when this bill does get passed, I think the deadline that they're talking about right now is about 4th of July to be the date that it should be going to the POTUS for signature. And what will happen then when it goes to POTUS for signature? That means the cuts are going to start, okay? A lot of people have been saying, oh, I don't think I'm going to get any cuts, okay? Oh, flipped _78, thank you for joining the live. Do me a quick favor. I know you're pretty good with sharing. Go ahead and share the live. Share the live so more people can come. So we'll talk about this resource grab. This resource grab and the financial implication of a resource grab and what it's going to mean for the pocketbooks. Okay, there's a lot of people right now that are thinking to themselves, their jobs are on the line, but not sure how they're going to replace that job. They're not sure if it makes sense to start looking for jobs in other industries. Because again, like I said, the dollars are going to be flowing. But right now, because of this resource grab, the economic and political, geopolitical stuff is what's impacting folks right now. They're not sure if what's going to be in this big, beautiful bill is going to stay to help them in the long run. They're not sure if they're going to be making the money they want to make. And what do I mean by making the money they want to make? I'm talking about getting your reimbursements. So if you get the right reimbursements, you're going to get the right money coming to you. Okay. So here's the flow. So that you're actually replacing your time. Okay. Materials, precious metals. It could be gas also. So this goes to this industries. For again, the industry that I want to flag right now because we're talking about something that's actually happening is this healthcare industry. So I'm gonna flag in the healthcare industry, and I'm gonna elevate the risk for the healthcare industry. So there's gonna be a huge risk right here, because when the risk increases, because the doctors and the healthcare companies are not getting the kind of reimbursements they want, because the Medicaid stuff is supposed to get cut. There's a big debate about it right now, and how this resources grab is going to impact Middletown America. I'm not sure where you're dialing from. As a matter of fact, to get you guys do me one favor, share this live so more people can come. And when you're watching this live, I also need you to get the sustain lives going, so I can explain how this resource thing that I developed works, okay? And if you want to know more about how I can actually help explain this further down, and you're ready to level up with yourself, go ahead and type me in the chat. Type me in the chat right now, so I can continue to explain the resources model that I developed, and to show you exactly why the risk tolerance for some of these industries are going to be high on certain levels. Welcome, Jeffrey. Helen93, thank you for joining. Roots, thank you for joining. Yes. Who's ready to level up with themselves right now to learn about this resource too? Again, remember, I already flagged one industry right here. It's called healthcare. And the healthcare industry continues to present a lot of risk right now from a political perspective. It's not economic perspective, just the fact that the risk involved with Congress having to pass these laws that's invariably going to impact Middletown America. And I'm telling you guys right now, Medicaid is one thing that you don't want to mess with. If I was to quote one senator that I heard, the senator's like, hey, look here. We do not want to, stop middle class folks from getting the health care that they want, or the health care that they should be getting. And that's a big problem when you start seeing those kind of concerns. Even though this senator, who I'm not going to name, actually said they were going to support the big, beautiful bill in the Senate. It's off a vote. I don't know how the vote is going to turn out. I'm just saying. Anybody got the news on the vote? Type some information if you know. Okay, but let's step a little bit away from this healthcare industry. And I talked about the auto industry being in a big problem. I'm a big car guy, so I'm a car enthusiast, and I'm also a fintech guru. So I'd like to explain to people how they can leverage some of the resources they have internally to weather the storm that's coming up right now. The big storm that's coming up right now is the storm in your pocketbooks, okay? And you're gonna have resources to be able to maximize some of the downturn in dollars. Forget about what you've been hearing. Okay, let me see who's joining right here. Bob's, DJ, the Ken, welcome. Thank you. Do me a favor, keep this. Can I get a sustained life? Can I get a sustained life? Because I got to keep going. But in order for me to keep going, I'm going to need you to give me some sustained likes, okay? And while you're giving me sustained likes, I want to, kind of tell you a little bit about a little story about this Northern Lights, okay? Because if you want to be able to manifest what it is you're looking for, first you got to be in a situation where you want to actually proclaim it, okay? All right, let's see who else is joined right here. Mo Manares joined. Thank you for joining. All right, so I need to see the sustained lights again. Remember, I haven't been live for a little bit because I've been kind of like sitting in the corner watching how people are behaving during lives. Are you going to support this channel, or are you going to support this live, or are you just going to come through and just kind of like laying the cut? Is that what you're doing? Because again, there's nothing wrong with that. But my expectation right here from this live, I'm going to see sustained likes like this, okay? When I see sustained likes, and when you share this live, it's going to let the algorithm know that people are here. It's going to let people know that, hey, I'm here, the live is here, and you can come join the live, and we're going to have some conversation about the big, beautiful bill. We're going to have a conversation about what's happening right now in this federal space. We're also going to have a conversation about digital, products, okay? So again, like I said, I'm a car enthusiast helping people get after what it is. I've shared mine right now. I'm going to expect you to share yours. Let's go. Who's ready to level up with themselves right now and learn about what's happening in the big, beautiful bill? And I also know exactly how this resources grab that I'm talking about is going to impact your neck of the woods. If you don't already know it's impacting your neck of the woods, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm just going to be honest with you that right now is probably the best time to start understanding how this is going to impact you long term. All right. So what happens when you try to create something out of nothing? Okay. Remember when I started, I was saying the downturn in labor, the pressures in labor is going to then lead to an increase in AI adoption. And when you start getting AI adoption, then you start thinking about fintech. Are you going to be the next fintech? You know what? I don't know. You're going to make it rain because you got some fintech? I don't know. All I'm saying right now is if you're all in this labor space and there's downward pressure on in labor in terms of people getting away, getting new jobs, and there's an upward trend for AI, okay? Let's assume there's this chart right here. AI is going this way and labor is going this way. So this is AI and this is labor, okay? I can almost guarantee that at the point where this chart intersects is where you're going to have a lot of people either leaving, okay? Or you may have new entrants. So if you know the supply and demand curve, okay, so the supply in this case is going to be lower. So when the supply is lower, it's probably going to shift lower. So then if you redraw this stuff, you can see the difference. So this is a point A and this is the point B. So as you can see right here, point A, where you had AI and labor almost intersecting, it was almost the same on the y-axis that it was on the x-axis. But let's get away from this chart a little bit that I plotted. Think about it from how much is it going to cost you when you go to the store to buy a basket of goods, a basket of stuff that you're going to put in your fridge that you're going to end up cooking, okay? How much is it going to cost you? Okay, I suffice this to say that as the labor pressure increases, people are going to start adopting artificial intelligence. I'll tell you some of the industries where I think this is going to go. Obviously, solar. Solar is going to adopt AI. Electricity, I don't know. That might be a 50% adoption rate, okay? But when it comes to things that are going to make it easier to produce in the absence of labor, I'm going to submit to you that those industries, for example, like manufacturing, distribution centers, you've already heard even chip makers are saying, you know what, we're having a lot of pressure, and they're using tariffs as the excuse. Again, I don't understand the impact of the tariffs short to long term. But what I do understand is there's going to be a time period where this is going to flip. Okay, what do I mean by this going to flip? Labor is going to be under AI. But right now, AI looks to be above labor. So watch out for that when that does happen, because that will present some impact. Again, everything I'm saying right now is for informational purposes only. I am not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you to go quit your job, nor am I telling you to go look for another job in an AI sector. Because let me tell you, getting a job in the AI sector may be actually more difficult than your current job. It might be more difficult. There might be some tests you have to do, and they may think that you're not equal to the task when it comes to working in this AI space, okay? But make no mistake about it though, when you hear AI, people automatically think it's about coding. But remember, most of the stuff that people are using in the financial services industry, that's another industry I need to put in here, okay? Financial services industry, okay? I'm gonna probably put it over here. It's not a risk, it's actually a win, okay? So financial services industry, it's another industry right here that may see growth. The reason it might see growth is, think about a situation where you're trying to get a paperwork, a piece of paper, okay? And you got to go speak to 10 people to get a piece of paper. Now imagine a scenario where you have AI agents that are out there and they can comb the ERP systems, or they can comb databases, and they can produce this paper that you're looking for. Let me ask you this. And they can produce that paper within, let's say, 2 minutes. If you were the CEO of a company or an organization, isn't that a good efficiency rate? Okay. Won't you think that your customer service survey is going to be higher in an environment where you can produce a piece of paper in 2 minutes versus producing a piece of paper in 3 weeks? A piece of paper. Folks, that's what's happening right now in some of these industries. People are asking the same questions, but they're not delivering value. And that's why I'm submitting to you that the financial services industry is probably one of the industry that's going to see huge growth when it comes to adoption of AI. Okay? My projection is probably going to be about 75% adoption rate. Okay? Okay? I don't know what rate it's right now, but I would envision a situation where people are going to be getting what they want quicker. Okay? And that's going to increase the customer service perception of financial services. So the question then becomes, Are you going to be the next fintech guru? I don't know. Okay. If you're going to be the next fintech guru, then I recommend that you start thinking about it. Okay. So Clary on the stock service. Thank you for joining. I wanted to kind of tell you a little bit of story about again what has happened. Okay. What I've said has happened is there's been people that's been basically doing things the old-fashioned way. They've been doing things the old-fashioned way and they refuse to change. And when you refuse to change, you are not making it good for yourself. Do me a quick favor when you come to this live, tap my nose and share. Share the live, because when you share, it's gonna allow more people to come in. Okay, more people like User Liz, Zo5, Shirley Cooper, more people like E-Learn. Hey, what's going on? Thank you for joining the live. Okay. Also, when you join the live, I need to see sustained likes, like so. Because when you do sustain likes, it's going to let the algorithm know that we're talking about something important. I started talking about the Big Beautiful Bill and how the Big Beautiful Bill was up for vote at the U.S. Senate. And there's also a measure where somebody want to read the 900-plus page Big Beautiful Bill so people can learn for themselves what's inside this bill. But the biggest contention, like I said, that's why the healthcare industry is a risk right now. But what I'm going to do real quick, if you can allow me, I'm going to erase this board and I'm going to do an illustration from a bigger macro perspective. Okay. All right. So I'm going to do this illustration, but you keep looking at this stuff real quick. I'm going to do this illustration, but what I'm going to illustrate is the impact of regulations. Okay. And the reason why regulations are not that great, and to the extent that regulations actually stifle business and stifles competition, then what that means is the cost of actually doing business goes up. And if the cost of doing business goes up, it's going to impact your pocketbooks. Like I said, your small street, mainstream pocketbooks is going to be impacted. And when that does get impacted, then you're going to have people that are not satisfied. They're not satisfied because the cost of production has gone up, customer service experience has gone down, and general cost of doing business has gone down. So let's start right now with what I was talking about. So we're going to do a big graph. All right. So this is a big graph for those of you that understand graphs. Okay. So remember what I said. This is a point A and this is a point B. Okay. And I said, I think this is the demand curve and the supply curve. So when you have a situation where you have AI over here and you have labor. Okay. So imagine a scenario, of course, this is your y-axis and this is the x-axis. I don't know, I may have it wrong, okay? But imagine a scenario, or is that y or is that x? I forgot. All right, where you have labor. This is labor. Labor was here before, okay? Okay? And then you had AI over here. If, this is just an if, it's a scenario that I'm painting, right? If you have a situation where now AI, okay? Remember AI is over here. Now let's see if they haven't crossed, right? And I'm saying point A and point B. So this is my point A, okay? So I'm gonna go this way. I said this is point A, okay? You got AI right here, and then you got labor right here. Okay, so if the adoption rate of AI goes up, okay? I don't know how high it can go. Let's just say this is an adoption rate of AI. So this is AI1, okay? That's what this is, AI1, okay? And this is labor 1. I'm gonna do the little thing right here so you can see it. Okay, this is labor 1, okay? So give me a scenario where you think adoption rate of AI goes down or the adoption rate of labor goes down. I'm sorry, so it's the inverse, right? So it's the inverse relationship. So if I was to push this right here, if I was to push this down, that's what you're going to end up getting, right? So it's going to be labor 2, okay? So if this is labor 2, if this is labor 2 right here, right? What's going to happen to AI1, AI2? So let's just say this is labor 2, okay? So that means the adoption rate of labor went down, and the consequence of that is you're going to have a downshift, okay? So you have a downshift. So what used to be that is now going to be somewhere here, okay? So it's shifted down. So this is going to be labor 2, okay? So I'm going to change the notation to L2. All right. If you're watching this right here, give me a thumbs up because I'm gonna keep giving you guys the secret sauce so you can understand exactly what this resource is. So this is gonna be labor 1, and this is gonna be labor 2, And meanwhile, I told you the adoption rate went up. So this is going to be AI2. Okay? And the reason this is AI2 is because there was an uptick in supply. Okay? Due to a corresponding downtick in labor. All right? So uptick in supply to a corresponding downward trend in labor. Okay? So as you can see right here, these lines do not necessarily have to meet. They don't necessarily have to meet. Okay? So in fact, when I say there's going to be an uptick in AI, it's going to be somewhere here. So this is your AI underscore 2, subscript 2. So labor subscript 1 and labor subscript 2 is very tight, as you can see right here. But AI subscript 1 and subscript 2, they look trending, they're trending upwards. And the reason that is happening in this particular scenario is because the broader risk and the broader economic values portend well for AI in relation to labor. So what does that mean then? Again, this is for educational purposes only. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what industries to go to. I am not telling you that you should quit your current job. But from this simple analysis that I just do, doesn't it make sense for you to start looking for careers in somewhere that's dealing with AI? Doesn't it make sense, especially when you see a situation where people are now going to be doing some political cuts, and I call it political cut. This is a risk, by the way. This is a huge risk because this is going to impact industries, okay? So I call it political risk, okay? So you talk about people cutting Medicaid, okay? They're saying, oh, we're going to cut Medicaid, okay? Okay, so that's number one. Number two, you can have economic risk. So you have economic risk, okay? What does economic risk mean? It means like, the basket goods that I was talking about, okay? The cost of goods that you can get from your local grocery store. It's gonna go, the basket of goods. I may put the demand curve here too, but let's keep going. So imagine a scenario that I'm gonna kind of interpose this with some curves that go that way, okay? So this is BA, B1, and B2. Okay, so what does that mean? It said, okay, basket of goods. Economic is the basket of goods. I call them B1, basket of goods. Basket of goods, okay? All right, so you got B1 and B2. Okay, so when you see basket of goods, B1 and B2, what does that mean? On this same line, folks, that means, I'm gonna put dollars in there because that's the implication of it, okay? So the basket of goods, this line went from here to here. Okay? It went from here to here. It shifted. Okay? So look at what AI can do to this. Okay? Let's say AI1 is this. And AI2 is somewhere here. Okay? Do you see how AI can actually help reduce cost? Do you see that right there? Do you see how by this shifting over to the right, it actually lowered the cost? Do you see how by this shifting over to the right, it actually lowered the cost? The cost went down that way. That's what I'm talking about. When you look at my model, because this is a model that I came up with, I wanted to, hey, let's see here, Shorty, thank you for joining. All Luke, thank you for joining. Again, remember, this is just for educational purposes only. And I want you to be able to imagine a scenario where you are about to make a decision. Okay? Some of the decisions you're making have political risk and they have basket goods risk. Okay? The political risk, the big one right here is this cuts to Medicaid, right? There's going to be some cuts, proposed cuts to Medicaid. And people are saying right now that it's going to impact Main Street USA. The senators are voting right now. I don't know if the vote has already passed, but the goal is to get that bill in front of the president by July 4th. So by Independence Day, somebody somewhere should be answering questions as to what is happening here. Okay? What is happening? Where is that an impact to labor? Okay? And what is going on with AI? And to what extent does the value of AI mean a reduced cost to the consumer, okay? And what about the risk? Is the risk going to be impacted also? Okay, so I don't know. So this is something I think you need to be thinking. Thank you for joining Ryan_retirement. And oh, by the way, I wanted to give you a good update. I did submit my retirement packet for disability, and I'm waiting for it. So thanks for all the insights that you gave me by watching your videos. So I'm actually waiting to see where that goes. So I've done the SSD, and paperwork is kind of hard, okay? And now I'm dealing with the Air Force, to try to see if they can do their piece. So I've submitted a bunch of documents. We're going back and forth, and medical documents, and but thanks to you, I was able to learn exactly how this thing works. But I'm trying to focus right now on what I think is happening in the Congress and how that may impact the labor piece of it. Because I think what's going to happen, I've already talked about how Medicaid cuts is now seeing the biggest spotlight. Okay, kind of like the spotlight that I have right here with my, with my, what it is, right? Yeah. So that's my Northern Lights. Okay. But I want to shed light on something that is more important. And for those people that are federal workers that have been sitting on the sideline and thinking that the labor costs are going to remain low forever, look at this illustration, because the AI obviously is going to save labor costs. If there's a huge adoption in AI and it goes up like this, from my prediction, that's what's going to happen. Okay, and then when you overlay that with the political risk that I've been talking about, the huge cuts to Medicaid that's going to impact small town America, I think now might be the best time to start running for the hills. Okay, now might be the best time to run for the hills and start protecting your retirement. Okay, because they're coming for it. They are not going to stop until they get the cuts. Okay, and the savings are going to impact the industries. Like I said, again, one industry right now that I think may see a downward trend. Again, I'm going to say may because I'm not saying will. Again, remember, this is for educational purposes only. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just laying the facts based on the analysis that I'm doing right now that I'm sharing with you. Okay, one sector that might see a huge cuts is the healthcare. The healthcare sector may see huge cuts. Another sector that might see huge wins is the financial services sector. So the financial services, in my opinion, are going to see huge wins, while the healthcare industry are going to see downward losses. So I don't know what that portends where you're working right now. If you're thinking this is going to impact you, again, because it's all based on the risk analysis that I've seen with this stuff. Again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I see from my foxhole. And having been in the federal space and seen exactly what I've seen before, I had to kind of say, you know what, it's time to go. It's time to go because I don't know what's going to happen to this big, beautiful bill. They're voting on it today. And I think before I started doing my illustration, I was talking about the cost of regulation. Do you know that people are going to sit there, apparently there's some kind of amendment, they're going to sit there and read all 900 plus pages of the big, beautiful bill in the Senate floor? I don't know. And remember what I had talked about, this subscript and AI and efficiency, doesn't that cost money to sit out there and read the bill just because you don't like the provisions that's within the bill? To me, I think that will cost a lot of time. Okay, let's see, Kendra, 28, thanks for joining the live. When you join the live, do me a quick favor, hit the like button. Okay, it's been a while since I've been live, but I want to be here to kind of help you guys. My goal for this live is 10,000. I think it's lightning or, Northern Lights or something. Okay, again, remember, feel free to share this video, this live, when you come in, and give me some likes. Okay, can I get a sustained likes on this real quick? Because when I get sustained likes, it makes me go on fuego. It makes things go faster. It makes me explain things quicker. Okay. But oh, by the way, if you're not already following me, there's a link right there. Go ahead and make sure you follow me, because when news breaks, when I come live, you know something is happening. I want to make sure you guys and girls get the up to the minute information as I present it. Okay. Or let's say Kendra The Curvy, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who here needs some one-on-one coaching? Okay, because I can explain this stuff in detail, one-on-one, as part of my online coaching service. Okay, in fact, what I can do right now, let me go ahead and pin that. Go ahead and DM me if you're looking to take full advantage of this. So my DM is going to be posted right now. Bam, there it is. It's right there. DM me, ask me any questions you have about my resource model that I came up with, and the impact of two industries that I just kind of flagged for you. I flagged the financial services industry because I think the adoption of AI, my projection is about 75% adoption for AI in the financial services industry. And the healthcare industry may behoove them to actually adopt that too. Okay? So to reduce costs in the healthcare industry, I've sent this political risk right here, which is the Medicaid cuts. Okay? It might make sense for them to adopt this at a 50% rate. Okay? I'm not sure how that's going to materialize because it's going to require a bunch of decisions at the corporate boardrooms and the C-suites and whatnot, the CFOs. They have to make a decision. They have to make it really quick, because I'm telling you, the reimbursement rates are not going to be as high as they're supposed to be. Although I did hear that one of the deals is to increase the percentage of reimbursement for those that have to get reimbursement for the government for Medicaid. So I don't know how that's going to play out once the big, beautiful bill finally gets voted out of the Senate. The expectation is this bill is supposed to go in front of the president by Independence Day, 4 July 2025. But I don't know what your takes are. What do you guys think? Captain Chris, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. When you join this live again, my expectation is for you to share this. DM me. I have my DM right there, right now. Again, remember, I did this illustration just to show you the efficiencies and why I think it might be a good idea for people to start adopting AI when it comes to fintech. Are you going to be that next fintech person that's going to make it rain? I don't know. I'm just saying that right now, what I'm seeing right now portends well for that industry, for the financial services industry. And what I'm seeing right now too also portends well for the healthcare industry, but the adoption rates are probably going to be higher, okay? And if they're higher, then that means people are going to basically counterbalance that risk. So the risk that I already explained, the economic risk, obviously, that's going to be something else. Where the basket of goods, you see B1 and B2 right there, okay? I don't know how that's going to shake out, because obviously you have industries, like logistics industry, you have the chip manufacturing industry. So everything that goes into the cost of production that ultimately ends up on your kitchen table may be impacted by what's going on from an economic risk perspective. So keep looking at how that plays out, because I think that's going to be one thing that you need to consider. You've got a flash goal. Okay, I will see what the flash goal is. Okay, normally it's just 3 people. Okay, so can I get 3 likers right there? It's just 1. Well, that's even better. 1. Who's gonna help me here? Let's go. It's just 1 person. I know I can make this goal. Come on, go. Let's go. All right. It's 1 right there. That's my flash goal. That's attainable. All right. So if you can help me with that, I will clean this board and I'm going to start another illustration. Okay. I know people like the illustrations and stuff, so I kind of use this to kind of help make sense out of very complex things. When I do a chart, it kind of paints a picture. All right. So, but what I was talking about again was consider an environment and a scenario where the costs are being reduced due to the efficiency of AI. I just saw something today where they said, you know what, to make it easier on AI, you need to make sure your prompts are crisp and direct. I never thought about that. I never thought about that if you're going to put a prompt on a chat GPT, if it's not like direct and correct, that actually increases the cost for running the equipment that the AI relies on. But that's deep. But they were talking about it today. I said, That makes sense. I can see that making sense, right? I can see how AI can actually impact not only the short-term cost, but the overall cost of production. But the user itself is impacting that based off of the knowledge on how to use the tool. Okay, because everybody's talking about AI right now, AI this, AI that, AI this. But I went to a business meetup where they were giving us the economic outlook, and this was from J.P. Morgan Chase folks, the big bank, and they were talking about nobody is talking about AI anymore. Why is that? I think I made a couple of videos about that. Oh, if you're not already following me, please go right here to my profile. When you get to my profile, click on there. There's a link to my YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because some of the videos that I put out here, you may find them on the YouTube, but I have some exclusive YouTube videos that are not available on this platform. So make sure you follow me and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Again, I have one request right now. My fast go, my flash go. Okay, so let's see right here. One message. Antigua Buena. Let's see, Shorty, Hema. These are all the people that joined. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for joining. So I need one gifter right now. Who's gonna level up right now and be that gifter? Okay, that's gonna help me meet my short-term goal. This is a flash goal that TikTok just popped up. So let's go ahead. Let's go, let's go, let's go. If you know you're a gifter, you're welcome right now. If you're a gifter, you're welcome right now. Okay, I have one right there. One goal. All right. Who's ready to rock right now? Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come back in about an hour and a half, and we're gonna start talking about the resource gap. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna talk about that resource gap. So Kendrick Music 01 just joined. Thank you for joining. Do me a quick favor, if you're a gifter, I have a goal of one gift right here. It's a flash goal. Go ahead and help me get to that. I know you can do it. So help me real quick, meet that goal so I can come back and talk about some more stuff. If you're wondering about this diagram that you see right here, this is me explaining how AI, okay, and labor kind of correlate. Additionally, there's political risk, which will make labor, okay, become more of a risk. And then there's economic risk, which will impact your particular basket of goods. So what I mean is basket of goods is like when you go to the store and you're trying to buy some stuff and you wonder why the cost went up, there's a reason why. Okay, so and that's part of the economic risk. So I kind of pointed out two risks right here that my recommendation is for people to start looking into, and also to the extent that the AI and labor costs are kind of like, correlated, okay, there will be an impact, or dramatic impact from a political perspective, the cost to Medicaid to the healthcare industry, which I think is going to take a big hit in terms of the labor, okay? There might be some corporate decisions that have to be made at the C-suite level and possibly the boardrooms to determine if they're going to take a 50+% adoption in AI. I already foresee a scenario where the financial services industry is going to get to about 75% adoption of AI in the not too distant future. When those adoption rates go up, then we're going to invariably see some cost savings. But until then, there's going to be a big pressure on labor, okay? And labor includes you, and it's also going to include people, mom and pop stores, the entrepreneurs that are actually doing a lot of the production. And to the extent that their cost is going to go up, they're going to find a way to pass that cost to you. Not to mention the supermarkets that are already doing that. So from a logistics perspective, you're going to see some cost increases. Again, this is just for educational purposes only. I'm not telling you what to do. I don't know if you're going to be the next fintech guru. All I know is I'm kind of doing some analysis and I'm presenting those to you. Okay, that's all I have for now. Don't forget to follow me right there. If you have time to like that, go ahead and like it. And I'll see you in my next live. Okay, take care, folks.